Mommies and Daddies, it's Emily from Doe Deer Nursery here. This morning I am just working on my two current customs. I have my Twin A by Bonnie Brown and my Sansa by Ping Lao. I'm hoping that today will be their last day of painting. I'm going to start doing some fine details and just kind of perfecting their coloring today. But anyway, I posted on Instagram that I wanted to film while I painted today, and I've decided to do an Ask Me Anything video. So I know a lot of you have already left me your questions. I've just got them pulled up over here to my right. And I'm just going to do my best to answer as many as I can while I paint today. So I hope you guys enjoy. So the very first reborn related question I got was favorite doll kit. Now that's a really hard question to answer because I have a lot of kits, and I also got a few variations on this question versus, favorite kit as an artist versus something I'd like in my personal collection. So I'm going to answer this question as some of my favorite kits as an artist. I would definitely say that the Twin A and B kits by Bonnie Brown are some of my very favorites. I have now painted each of these kits several times, and honestly, I don't get sick of them. I just think they're so beautifully sculpted. I really enjoy painting them. So those are some of my favorites. I love Gudrun Legler kits in general. I love how they all kind of have those teeny, demure little noses and just really sweet expressions. So those are definitely some of my favorite kits. I'm also really looking forward to the release of Levi by Bonnie Brown. That's a kit I know I'm going to be head over heels for. Okay, so Heartwarming Nursery had a ton of questions, and so she went ahead and DM'd them to me. So she DM'd me a list of kind of either or questions about my preferences regarding reborn dolls. So I just wrote that down right here, and I will do my best to answer them all. So the first one is fantasy or normal baby reborns. What's my preference? I think all reborns are awesome, but for me personally, I prefer just normal baby reborns. As much as I think fantasy reborns are beautiful and adorable, for me, what I enjoy about reborns is the realism and kind of the simulation of a real human baby without actually having a real human baby. So that's what I enjoy most about them, so I'd say normal. Okay, full limbs, full arms and legs, or full arms, or three-quarter arms with full legs. I know a lot of people like having three-quarter arms and full legs because it gives you kind of more posability for the baby. You can pose it a little better and has more movement. But I really like full limbs because it gives you the freedom to pretty much dress them in anything. I've seen so many cute baby outfits that I've had to pass up on because it had kind of cap sleeves or short sleeves or whatever, and I knew would show the cloth on a three-quarter arm doll. So definitely full limbs. Silicone dolls versus vinyl reborn dolls. I have never made, nor have I had, or even seen in person, a silicone doll. So I can't say with 100% certainty, but I would say I do prefer vinyl dolls. I love the way they look, and I think that's just my preference. But who knows? Maybe one day I'll be more into silicone dolls. You never know. Shopping for myself or shopping for my reborns. Now, I'm almost embarrassed to admit it, but I definitely shop for my reborns far more than I shop for myself. Especially because I send my customs home with full layettes, and one of just my favorite parts of the whole process is getting to shop for my customs. Sometimes I go a little bit overboard and buy them a lot of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I shop for myself when I need to. Mostly I'll do it online, but yeah, I tend to shop for reborns, both personal collection and customs, way more often than I shop for myself. Alright, what other questions do we have here? Belly plate or no belly plate? Now again, my answer is different between customs and personal collection babies. For customs, I love getting to include a belly plate. One, I think they're really fun to paint. And two, I like to have something like that to send home to, the new reborn moms and dads who I make dolls for. For me personally, I don't really use belly plates on my personal collection dolls, because the only time I ever use a belly plate is for photos, and I don't really do photo shoots of my personal collection dolls very much. They're mostly just kind of for cuddling and for comfort, and if I'm cuddling a doll, I don't want a vinyl belly plate in the way. So yeah, for customs, yes. For personal collection babies, not so much. Rooted or painted hair was the next question. I have actually never had a reborn with rooted hair. And I did that intentionally because, I heard a lot about kind of the maintenance that rooted hair requires, and I just have not felt up for having to maintain a doll's hair. But I recently, if you follow me on Instagram, I just got a Serenity Eagles reborn doll by an artist named Cindy on Instagram. And she does have rooted hair, and I think it's just beautiful, and honestly, I can't wait. And I'm making sure to kind of brush up on rooted hair care and maintenance to make sure I take very good care of it. But I'm excited, so I'll probably have a better answer to that question once I have her and I'm maintaining her hair myself. In terms of realism, I really do love how rooted hair looks if it's well done. But I can totally understand, the preference for the ease of painted hair. So we will see about that one. Okay, newborn or toddler? Definitely newborn. I think toddler reborns are adorable. I've seen so many great ones. But for me personally, I tend to bond with smaller, kind of younger looking reborn dolls. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just the cuddle factor or the realism factor. I don't know what, but I definitely prefer for myself newborn size reborns. Okay, sleeping or awake? Also, definitely have an answer to this. Sleeping. I really prefer sleeping babies because, again, it's about realism for me. A sleeping reborn doll just looks like the baby's napping, and it looks super real, and you're a lot less likely to kind of notice that it's not a real baby. There are so many super cute awake babies like Sansa here. I think this is one of the cutest, sweetest kits I've ever seen. So it doesn't mean I don't like awake babies at all. There are some awake babies that I just absolutely adore. But my general preference is sleeping babies. Custom or ready-made? I think customs are super awesome. I think it's so cool when you get to pick all the details of your dream baby and kind of see it come to life. I think that's a really cool process. For me personally, I'm a super impatient person. It's something I am constantly working on to try and be more patient, but I would say for me personally, I just like to buy ready-made dolls because I already know what the end result is. They're already done. I don't have to wait nearly as long. So that kind of helps with my impatient personality to just have one ready to go. And then her last question was collector or artist. So I think what she's asking there is if I had to choose one, what would I rather be? Had you asked me 6 months ago, I probably would have said collector. But I, more and more, am really, really enjoying being a reborn artist. So I think I would have to say, if I had to choose one, I'd rather be an artist, because even though the babies do go home, once they're complete and they're paid off, and I do miss them when I send them home, I do still get some good time with them. I feel I kind of bond with every baby I create through the process of painting them. And then once they're done, I get to do their photo shoots. I'll maybe take them on an outing or two to go get clothes for them. So I do get, kind of special time with them before they go home. So I still kind of get the cuddle factor and the enjoyment I get. for my personal collection babies with the ones I make. All right, so those are all really, really great questions, again, from Heartwarming Nursery. So I'm going to move on to some other people's questions. Ones are also asked, what kind of brush do you use to paint brows? I also had a similar question from someone asking what kind of brush do I use to paint hair. So I will just show you guys the brush I use once I finish blending this blushing on the belly plate here. Okay. I use this brush. This is what is this? This is a liner brush. I got it from Bountiful Baby. It's one of the ones that's included in their Reborn Starter Kit. I have a couple of these brushes, and what I did with this one was I cut about half the bristles off. I don't know if you can see that, but it's super thin and fine. It's already a fine brush, and then by cutting half the bristles off, it's even finer and more delicate. So yeah, that's what I use for painting hair and painting brows. I mean, I tend to use a few different brushes, but that's the one I go for most. As a collector, I would say a dream kit I have, it's a long sold out kit, but it's Linus by Gudrun Legler. I love that kit because the sculpt, oddly enough, resembles me as a baby so much. I had kind of really similar features, and I've seen a version someone did of a Linus Legler with really thick, fairly long rooted black hair, which is exactly what I looked like as a baby. And I saw that doll and just went, oh my god, I gotta have this kit. And you know, of course, it's long sold out. It's very hard to find, but I would love to have a Linus Legler in my collection one day. I also really want, I said this before, both as an artist and as a collector, I want Levi by Bonnie Brown so bad. That kit's supposed to be coming out this summer, probably in July, I think Bonnie Brown said on her Instagram. But I would love to have that kit in my personal collection as well as painting it. Alright, I'm running out of storage space on my camera, so I'll try and blow through the next few questions. But Julie Bagwell asked, do you bake your babies, and if so, how do you bake them? I think the question's more getting at, do I use heat set paints or air dry paints? I do use Genesis heat set paints. You do have to bake these on. So what I do is I use a glass baking pan, and I just line the baking pan with lots of polyfill, and then set the kits up in that and bake it at 265 degrees for 9 minutes per layer. Whittle Bubs, who's my friend Jessica, asked, what made you want to reborn? How long ago did you start? And will you ever offer rooted heads? So I answered a lot of those questions in my last video, kind of about my reborn story. So if you want to hear more about that, go check out that video. As for rooting hair, it's not something I plan on doing anytime soon. It's just such a big time commitment. And there are so many super talented rooting artists out there that I'd rather just kind of like outsource any rooting work to them. But again, never say never. Maybe it's something I'll decide I want to pick up someday, and then we'll maybe offer it on customs. We'll see. Okay, last couple. Do you have any advice for bonding with a baby with flaws? I think that's a really sweet question because, you know, not all dolls are perfect. And honestly, it's just like people. No one's perfect. Everyone has flaws. Just focus on the things you love about your baby. Spend time doing things that help you bond. For me, that's dressing them. For some people, that's feeding them or taking them out or just cuddling before bed. Do whatever it is that helps you bond. But yeah, I think that's all the questions. Thank you guys so much for asking. They were all so creative and sweet. And yeah, I'm just going to do some more painting today. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.